Getting food delivered at your home is one of the most popular thing that's been happening from the last few years. But because of this current crisis, it's even more popular than ever before. And one of the most popular job among international students in Australia is doing Uber Eats. So in this video, we are going to give you a complete guide on how to do Uber Eats in Australia. From starting up with the sign up process to how much money you can make and everything you need to know about Uber Eats. So if you really want to know everything about how to do Uber Eats, this video is perfect for you. And if you're new to this channel, I highly recommend you to subscribe as we make videos for international students every single week covering range of topics including studying, working and life in Australia. Without further wasting any time, let's dive straight into the video. Now the first thing first is the sign up process. Now obviously when you're about to start any job, you will need to do some paperwork and sign up processes, and Uber Eats is no different. So usually you'll need to complete a form. That's a very simple form that you can complete online, and we'll make sure that we put the link of this form in the description below so you can go straight to that form itself. And in this form they will ask you some personal details, obviously starting off with your email ID and then asking you about your name, your phone number and other details. And also they will ask you about which method of transport would you use for delivering food using Uber Eats, which we will talk about in a minute's time. You also have to agree with the terms and conditions of Uber Eats and provide some sort of identification documents like your passport, license, student ID or some other form of identification document. And usually it will take around 2 to 3 days to get the whole process set up, and then you will need to download Uber Driver's app and you're ready to go. So the sign up process is very straightforward. Now comes the methods of delivery. Now when it comes to delivering food, you can use 3 different types of transport. So you can basically use car, motorbike or push bike or bicycle. Regardless of whichever type of transport you choose, you will need to be 18 years or above. Now if you're going to choose motorbike or car as your delivery method, you will need to meet some other requirements as well, such as you must have a full Australian license, or if you are a temporary visitor like international student, you can definitely use your overseas license, but it must be a full overseas license and it's only applicable in few cities from December 2019. Keep in mind that using overseas license for Uber Eats is only available in certain cities at the moment. Your motorbike or your car should be registered and must have a third-party insurances, plus it should be newer than 1990s. For bicycles or push bikes, you don't really need to provide any license documents, and that is why bikes are one of the most popular method of delivering food using Uber Eats. And obviously it's much cheaper and easier to buy a bike than a motorbike or a car. So many international students do prefer to use push bike or bicycles to do deliveries for Uber Eats. Now you can buy a bike for cheap from places like Kmart, or you can get a used one from Gumtree as well. And if you don't have money to buy a bike outright, you can also rent it out from someone else. Sometimes some universities do provide free renting of the bicycles. So ask your university or institution if they have some free bikes available as well. Or you can also buy or rent an electrical bike as well, which many students actually prefer to do at the moment. And if you can't afford to buy electrical bike, you can obviously rent it out from some other providers, and the rental cost of these electrical bikes can be anywhere from $80 to $100. And especially if you're going to deliver food using bikes, you may need some additional things as well, like a helmet, and it is a requirement in Australia when you're riding a bicycle on the road. You will obviously need a smartphone as well, where you will have your delivery app, lights for your bicycle, and it's also recommended to have a portable charger with you for your phone, especially when you're gonna be traveling around and you'll be using your phone a lot. And smartphone batteries these days are shocking anyways. And make sure that you need to have an insulated bag for your delivery. You can buy this insulated bag yourself, or you can order from Uber's office as well. Obviously it costs money. Now let's say you have gone through the sign up process, you've got your documents, now you've got your bike and everything sorted as well. So how does the whole process works for this delivery thing? Ideally you will be going to the city center of the city you're living in, or the place where there are plenty of restaurants around, because there's no point of standing where there's no restaurant around that place. And the busiest time for Uber Eats is between 7:30 to 9:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock to 3 p.m. in the afternoon and between 6 to 10 in the evenings. And Fridays and Saturday nights you can work till late as well, because there are plenty of deliveries in the late nights as well, especially in a bigger cities like Sydney, Melbourne. So usually you will stand around these restaurants and you'll get a notification of the orders, and as soon as you get the notification, you accept the order and then you go to the restaurant, introduce yourself, pick up the food from there, and then you ride and then you deliver the food to the customer. After delivering the food, you will come back to a place where you were standing earlier, so you can get your next delivery for that. And now comes the most important question that many students need to know: how much money you can make doing Uber Eats. Now Uber Eats pays you based on three main factors. The first one is the flat fee they pay you when you pick up the order from the restaurant. The second one is when you're actually gonna deliver the food to the customer. And last but not the least, the distance you travel. So usually the further you go, it's more chances you will make more money. But as per our research, on an average per delivery you can make anywhere from $6 to $12. And it will take around 15 minutes to 30 minutes to do one delivery. And if you do around 5 to 6 hours in a day, you can make around $100 to $120. This amount is just a guidance. It may vary depending upon the city you are in and depending upon the time of the day you're delivering and many other factors. Keep in mind that there could be some times when you are not doing much deliveries as well, as there could be other riders or there are not enough deliveries coming in. Now last but not the least, we're gonna just quickly touch base on the advantages and disadvantages of doing Uber Eats. Now let's look at the positive things first, the advantages. Now many students choose to do Uber Eats because it's like you become your own boss. There's a lot of flexibility in the hours. You choose your own hours, and if you don't feel like working on one day, you can certainly, take a day off. Or if you want to work in the evenings, or if you want to work in the mornings, you have your own freedom to choose that. Especially if you're using a bike or a push bike, it's a great way to keep fit. What's a better way than keeping yourself healthy and fit and earning money at the same time? And obviously, when you're riding from one place to the other in the city, you get to know the city really well. And you will explore some places that you will never thought of going otherwise. And obviously you're delivering food, so you get to find some of the best restaurants in your city. Now when starting with disadvantages, that could be one of the disadvantage of doing Uber Eats. Because you get to know all these restaurants, you spend all the money that you're earning basically buying food from these restaurants. So that is definitely a disadvantage. Also, if you're doing it on the bike, it can be really tiring and exhausting. Sometimes you have to go uphill or downhill, and it can be really tiring to do all these sort of things. Also, if there is a breakdown of your bike, of your car or motorbike, you definitely need to get it fixed and you don't get paid for that. And unfortunately, delivery driver jobs are not considered one of the best jobs. People do look at you a bit differently when you're doing a delivery jobs. Now last but not the least, should you actually do this job or not? Now we've listed out the whole process of what to do, what to buy, and what you need to be mindful of. And we listed also some advantages and disadvantages of doing Uber Eats. Now it will purely depend upon what your needs are. Obviously, if you gotta pay bills, you gotta survive doing some part-time work, you need to earn money, and Uber Eats is definitely one of the way of earning money. And especially if you can't find any other job, giving Uber Eats a go is definitely worth it. So my recommendation is, if you really want to make some money and if you want to start earning some money at the start of your career in Australia, then Uber Eats could be the way to go. But in my personal opinion, it's not really a long-term job. As first thing first, it can be really tiring and exhausting, especially if you're doing it on the bike. It gets a bit challenging after a while. But the other important thing is that if you're coming here for studies, and if you really want to see yourself doing great in your career, you will need to start looking for a job that's relevant to your career discipline. Because having some extra cash is great, but it's important to look after your career as well. And it's no one else but your own duty itself. And also make sure that you abide by your visa conditions and you only work 40 hours per fortnight when your study is in session. You definitely can work more hours in your holiday period, but I won't suggest you guys to do more than 40 hours per fortnight, as it is a clear breach of your visa conditions. And because everything is recording on the app, it's quite easy for ATO, immigration and other authorities to track it down. Well, I hope you find some value in this video. If you do, please make sure to smash that like button and share it with other friends as well who are coming to Australia and who are planning to do Uber Eats. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next one.